Hey, everybody! Welcome back to Rethink podcast, and we have gifts.
We have an official sponsor now, you could say.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it's a good one.
yeah,
because I've got the what is it, the COVID-15?
yeah. You do packing it on.
Oh yeah. So we have bundt cakes here, but give us a story.
Okay, so on the Easter podcast, Jim asked, "What did you eat for Easter?" And so
That's right.
I started talking about like, oh, we had nothing bundt cakes, and you made a comment about like, oh, I've never had that before.
Yeah.
The owners of the Longmont.
Margot and Patty.
Yep, they own the Longmont Nothing Bundt Cakes. They were just so sad that you hadn't tried it, so they drove down today, brought you a lemon one because you love lemon bars.
I do.
And then assorted ones. Which tell the story of Red Velvet.
Oh my gosh! So the other day I woke up and I had a dream.
Yeah,
I'm having a weird dream.
yeah. You dream in color, black and white, just real quick.
Color. I think color.
I dream in black and white unless I take like a NyQuil type thing, and then I dream in color.
a NyQuil and a old fashioned.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like that. It's like
Wow.
that. But I had a dream about red velvet cake, and I woke up and all I wanted was red velvet cake.
Yeah.
And Chick-fil-A doesn't sell red velvet
don't.
cake, but nothing but bundt cakes.
Yeah.
And so cheers to that.
Yeah.
So I apologize. I'm gonna have red stuff. I'm gonna chew in the mic.
Yeah.
I don't care.
It's the experience. We're bringing people into the
Yeah.
experience.
So nothing but cake, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
And nothingbundtcakes.com.
Yep.
And this is amazing.
It's amazing. And they are actually right behind the Longmont campus. I just found out. So they were like a block away.
Ordered by Gold's Gym and all that.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I forget the name of the strip mall that she said it was, but it's right there.
All right.
Yeah. So just thanks for hooking it up. We're pumped.
Yeah.
We are going
So,
to pack on the weight.
Margot and Patty.
Yeah.
It's National Margot and Patty Day today.
It really is for forever, actually. It's
Forever.
it's their month. I'll take their month. So my favorite one they have is raspberry lemon, and they start making it. It's seasonal. They start making it on June 1st. Margot said she'd hook it up June 1st. So
I love carrot cake too.
oh
I think you put cream cheese on a turd and I'd eat it.
yeah, you're good to go. It's so good.
Don't try that at home.
Yeah, don't. Yeah, just keep it on bundt cakes.
We got really bored during
during our quarantine.
and so we like let's
try
see
it.
if it works.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, so for today, we're just going to kind of do rapid fire questions. If you guys have questions, you want us to tackle topics, whatever that is, send them in. What's the email?
Rethink at flatironschurch.com.
Okay. Send us in questions, and we'll try to get to them as we roll through.
Yep.
If there's something you're struggling with, if there's something that you're really like, I don't know how to do this as a man, wife, husband, whatever that is, we want to know, Dad.
Right.
So send them in.
On Saturday nights, I'm doing the Instagram live thing where people are just firing questions. I love it. Mm-hmm. We're getting questions about everything from theological questions about how do you feel about this and how do you see this, and this is great, stuff like that, to just down to like what's your favorite hunt?
Yeah.
And
Or why does Cole wear girl pants, apparently.
and I had your back. I thought it was a very good financial decision that you and Taylor
Shared
share
pants.
clothing.
Yeah, it's wise. Saves on laundry.
We're
saves
gonna
on
do a
all
whole
of it.
episode and it's just called "Why Does Cole
Do blank.
blank?"
Yeah. And we could spend hours.
Oh,
Yeah. It's shocking to even me sometimes.
But you've been getting a lot of questions, and I don't know what they are.
Yeah.
But
So
I
we're-
might turn them on you.
That's fine. Yeah. That's I say that's fine now. We'll see what happens as we get rolling.
Is what we do.
Yeah. So let's start. We'll just start at the top and work our way down.
Okay.
Marriage and quarantine.
You're running a timer on this?
Yeah.
So John just got married. He should be the expert.
He should be the expert on marriage and quarantine.
Yep.
We're at 4 minutes in case you're wondering.
Okay.
Oh, we got time.
But John just moved into a new house, and you know what they finally got?
What?
A mattress.
Nice.
We did.
Yes.
It's wonderful.
What'd you get?
It's a Casper mattress.
didn't
We
go purple
upgraded
bed.
from a queen to a king.
Oh,
and
how great is
You'll
it?
never go
makes
back.
all the difference.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I actually got my free purple bed, and we haven't set it up yet because we're gonna move, and so we're just keeping it wrapped up right now.
I could store that for you at the cabin.
I'll think about it. Yeah.
I do need to buy one.
Yeah.
And
And purple's the way to go.
I know I've got one
I
already.
know you do. You have two, don't you?
Nope, just one.
Oh, yeah, they're great.
Yeah.
Okay, marriage and quarantine. In the midst of quarantine, in the midst of tension within quarantine, what have you thought through? Like, and you and Robin are in a different stage of marriage than I am, or that John is, or anybody
You
else.
mean we're
is.
old?
Yeah. I wasn't gonna say that because I've been mean to you the past couple of podcasts. I take it back. But in the midst of that, when has there been times where like tension in your marriage has like hit an all-time high, and you've had to go like call a timeout and start working through it? What did that look like, and what would you suggest to somebody right now who's like, hey, things at home right now are just really hard. We're trying to figure out new routines, new normals. What does that look like in the midst of that tension?
Yeah. All the things that cause the biggest arguments right now, all of our triggers are happening in everybody's life right now.
Yeah.
Number one thing, I'm worried about money. Anytime I'm worried about money, I go crazy in traffic. Like I'll tailgate people and I'll honk and like, get out, right?
Yeah.
And it's just because if you want to get really, really deep and psychological, is like that car in front of me is keeping me from what I want. I want to go faster and it says I can't. Yeah. So is my lack of finances. And so it's not a conscious thing, but this past week I taught on how we deal with anger and anxiety and whatever that is. With fear, panic, and anxiety. Yeah. And the truth is that my fear, and I've talked about this before, my fear and panic don't come out as fear and panic, they come out as anger. Mm-hmm. And the person I live with the closest usually is the recipient of that. Yeah. And so when I'm stressed about money, when I'm stressed about my career and my job, right? And when I'm frustrated with things like parenting. Mm-hmm. So which are the big three right now.
For sure.
Right? And it's like that my health doesn't, when Robin's health has been in the toilet, stuff like that, that doesn't cause fights. It causes tension, but you don't fight with a sick person.
Yeah.
Actually, we had our biggest fights when she got better.
Yeah.
She's like, oh,
yeah.
Now we can fight.
Now we can do this.
Now it's on, I think that money, job, and parenting have been three of our biggest triggers of what have caused us to, and we fight different. Mm-hmm. The first half of it, we talked about this last time. First time we were yelling, screaming, like the dogs like getting under the bed, and the kids are like going right, and we're like going out. Now it's not so much. Now it's much more passive aggressive and silent treatments and stuff like that. It's just as hurtful. It's just not as loud.
Yeah, for sure. With those three big topics, what was the biggest? They don't go away.
Nope,
they don't. So instead of just like shoving them under the rug, what was the biggest way that instead of like going around them, putting them to the side, like how did you guys work through them? And now that you're through them, how do you, when they pop back up, how do you work through it again?
Yeah. So I think there's this broken side of men, and maybe there's for women too. Mm-hmm. I'm sure they have their brokenness too. Yeah. As a husband, stuff like that, I felt like there's a self pressure. Even again, this past weekend, I went around to some different people, like a couple band people, and then Bobby, who's on our tech crew. And I said, what are you scared about? And he goes, I'm supposed to provide and protect for my family, and I don't know what I'm even fighting against right now. So we create this thing of like, I should have the answers. And then when I don't, then I get really nervous. And then when I feel like I'm being questioned, then I'm going to fire up on you. You know, that happens at job. It happens with Robin. It happens with kids, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like I'm trying to act like I have my shit together, right?
Yeah.
And I don't. And then now you're pushing my buttons, so I assume you don't either. So I got to put you back in your place so I don't. It's so jacked up. Yeah. But so the answer to your question though is, and nobody's gonna want to hear this answer. Yeah. Say it out loud. Mm-hmm. It loses its power when you say it out loud. It's go, hey Rob, I don't know how I'm gonna pay these bills. And you can say I told you so. I shouldn't have bought that rifle, or I shouldn't have rented that, leased that car. Okay, you win. All right. I'm just telling you right now, I'm really, really stressed about it, and that's why it's coming out sideways. That's where I am. Mm-hmm. The reason I'm staring at my phone is because I'm locked up. It's not because I don't like you or you're boring or something like that. So I get it out earlier, okay? It's like, hey Rob, I don't need you to do anything about this, but let me tell you what is just driving me crazy about work right now. You don't have to, all right? I'm just telling you that's what's on my mind. Yep. Because when Robin doesn't know what's on my mind, she makes up a story about what she thinks is on my mind, and it's never a positive one. No. I bet he's in prayer. Yeah. No. I bet he's meditating like that, Like, it used to drive her crazy in the car because when I get in a truck, I just go quiet. I love windshield time. Mm-hmm. I love windshield time, right? And she's sitting over there going, he just doesn't love me anymore because he won't talk to me. And I'm like, huh? So I think that those triggers, parenting, money, and job, when I get really, really tense about those, I try to stuff it, and then anything anybody does, it comes out, and then it causes a fight. And it's not about that; it's about this other thing. So you got to say it faster. You got to get there sooner, because in counseling, finally, about counseling session number 3, you go, okay, here's what was really going on.
Yeah,
and you go like,
I wasted $400 on the last 2 when I could have got it out then.
Exactly. Yep. So I would say it out loud. You don't have to ask for a solution. You don't ask for them to fix it. You just say, hey, I'm really, really bothered about what's going on with so-and-so. I don't know what to do about that, but that's what I'm thinking about. Yeah. All right. And usually you'll go, I thought you were mad at me. No, but I understand why you did that. I'm really sorry. Mm-hmm. Say that faster too. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Hey, I'm sorry. And then put a period on the end of it. Because usually right? It's like, hey, I'm sorry, but you know what you
Yeah,
did?
yep.
And it's like, nah, not helpful.
Yep. The
All
tension
right?
just rises then.
So that's what I would counsel anybody, no matter in their marriage, is going, okay, total disclosure, transparency is I'm really worried about our money. I trust God.
Yep.
I don't think we're gonna, be eating ramen noodles, until retirement or something like that. I'm just telling you that normal isn't feeling normal right now, and it's freaking me out, and that's what's on my mind.
Yeah.
It's not, I don't love you anymore. It's not, if I find an excuse to get in the truck and go away, it's not to avoid you. It's just I'm trying to distract myself.
Yep.
And then hopefully you'll get the response back going, thanks, take a drive.
Yep.
All right. But it's not, they assume it's about them, and then they're going to want to plug into that, and then you're going to get defensive, and you're going to get fight.
Yep. An analogy I used with a couple weeks ago was like, you could have Michael Jordan out on a basketball court, but when things aren't working well, there's still a good time to call a timeout and like circle back up and like talk about what's going on. You can have you can be the best husband in the world. It doesn't mean what's going on in the mix of like real time, real life is going well. So how do you take a timeout? How do you take a pause, invite somebody else in to speak into it? And then as a team be like, okay, now we can step back out and be on the same page.
Yeah, when you call a timeout, you're going, hey, isn't the play when I go left, you go right, and then I pass? No, I thought I go right, you go left, and then pass. Oh, okay. Well, here's what it is.
Yeah.
And then you go back out and you go, okay, you go
Yeah.
left, go right, and then there's right. So it's just like, I didn't understand the plan.
Yep.
So we were operating off two plans.
Yep.
Call a timeout and go, hey, what was that? Because I don't think that felt like what we agreed to.
Yep. And you're operating on two plans, both chasing after something good. But
Absolutely.
when it doesn't work, you're like, if I were to look at Taylor and be like, the choice you made was really to screw our family up. It's like, no, it's not. She was trying to do something good.
Yeah. You're both right. You just had a different definition of right.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, that's really good.
I should write that down.
You should. That was very wise. Another one we got is in the midst of chaos, maybe not even the Corona stuff, but in the midst of losing my job, my
Have
spouse,
we told you that yet?
Yeah, I think it's coming after this. Okay. Yeah. My spouse wanting a divorce. We lost our kid. Like some crazy stuff. You taught a couple months ago, and you said that God wants good for me. Mm-hmm. And in the midst of things going really well, it's really easy to see that and say that. Where have you been at in the midst of just like hell, and had to remind yourself of like, God wants good for me, and so here's what I'm going to do because of that. Here's the choice I'm going to make. Here's how I'm going to hold on to Jesus differently because of that. Because there's people that are walking through stuff right now that's like, it doesn't seem like God wants good. It's really easy to get caught up in like, everything sucks, everything's super heavy. If God wanted good, this is not the way I picture it.
Right. First of all, total disclosure, I don't think that, the whole Romans 8, God works for the good of those who love him.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense in the moment.
No.
And that's why you have to believe it, even though you don't see it right now. And that was just the definition of faith.
Yep.
Right. So the times when so obviously Robin's illnesses. Now, I'm gonna be honest. If I got a magic rewind button and I went back and we could say, now let's live the next 37 years without bipolar depression and without Robin being in pain every day.
Yep.
Of course, I don't want her to be in pain.
10 times out of 10.
Right. In the middle of that, there's times I looked at God and went, you're not being a good God. I don't care if you're going to use this for good. Right now, it's not good. It hurts. And I need you to be a better God and do your job.
Yep.
All right. Now, I look back and I would not be who I am. Robin wouldn't be who she was. Hundreds of people reached out to her after Easter going, hey, Rob, your story, I heard it before. And every time I hear it, I'm reminded it's kept me alive. Now, do I choose Robin being in pain so that stranger can be alive?
Yeah.
I don't know. I do know that God's worked good for it.
Yeah.
And Robin sees that there's some meaning in that. I'm not gonna look at somebody that just lost their child and go, God's gonna work this for good. Somebody says that to me, I'll
punch him.
I'm punching in the face. Now, in heaven, it all makes sense, but if I get a choice, I want my kid back.
Yep.
All right. So the other thing would be confusion, like in career changing and things like that. It's like, I know that if God would have told me yes in some of my prayers, I'd still live in Kentucky and Flatirons wouldn't be here. Mm-hmm. Well, you know what I mean by that.
But it wouldn't be.
I wouldn't have been able to have the last 15 years, 14 years, all right? In the process, I told God, this is a bad decision and you should let me do this because it makes sense in my mind. Now, in the rearview mirror, I look back and go, he worked it for good and he wants good. And the most loving thing God ever told me was no.
Yeah.
And I look back and stomp my foot like Booker does.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You don't have to teach a baby how to say no or to stomp their feet and cross their and stick out their lips, all right? Same way with God.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. And so that's where faith comes in. And that's what I talked about this past weekend is okay, I'm facing overwhelming circumstance. I'm a Goliath, a fiery furnace. I don't know where my food, drink, clothing, water is going to come. And then Jesus looks at him and goes, okay, so don't worry.
Yep.
All right. Here's what I want you to do instead. Think about me. Remember me. And I brought you this far. I'm going to do it again. All right.
Yeah.
You don't see it.
No.
You don't see it. Peter started sinking in when he took his eyes off Jesus and looked at the wind.
Yep.
That's when because the wind's bad.
Yeah.
All right. There's no good in wind and waves.
Yeah.
Right? They drown you. Right.
Yep.
And so that's the time when you have to go, I don't like this. It doesn't feel good. I don't see how God could possibly redeem this. And even if he could, I'd still choose to not have it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. It's still happening.
Yeah.
And so what do you
now
hang
what?
on to, right?
Yeah.
So you go, listen, it's not good. I don't think that babies dying is a good thing.
Yeah.
I don't think that people getting divorced is a good thing.
Yep.
I don't think that people getting cheated on is a good thing. I don't think cancer or COVID is a good thing, all right? It's going to happen because we live in a really up world, you know? We didn't blink that out.
You just did it for it. Yeah.
Right. That's going to happen. I'm going to go through that with God or without God.
Yeah.
All right. I choose God.
Yep.
All right. And he's been faithful to me so far. And so he has worked it for good. And down the road, I now see it was good. I don't know if I push rewind and do it all the same.
Yeah.
But that's a stupid question. It's like when somebody goes, do you wish you hadn't had that baby now? That actually was asked to a relative of mine. Do you ever wish you hadn't kept your baby? That's the most stupid question ever.
Yeah.
It's like, why would you even ask that? Okay, so it was hard. It was whatever. Should I have gotten pregnant? I don't know. You got a kid now, right?
Yep.
Don't ask those questions.
Yep.
What good thing is like I wouldn't trade this little kid for the world now,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Focus on that. That's good.
That's good.
I don't know. Is that
I think
close to it?
Yeah, that answers it. Yeah. And in the midst of that, like, how do you I did that funeral for the baby
Right.
last week, and it's like for me to stand up there and go, hey, this is all part of God's plan. Not helpful. Not going to be a good thing. But in the midst of it, like talking with the family, their whole thing
don't say God just wanted him in heaven with him.
Get out of
like,
here.
That makes me so mad at God, right?
Yeah,
right?
for
It was
sure.
just his time. It was his plan. You know, it's like
yeah. Not helpful.
you can't find that Bible verse either.
No, it's not there.
Yeah.
But with that, talking with the family, they've had people that are like, how are you holding on to your faith in this? How are you doing all this? And their answer is like, what else do we have? At this point, what else do we have? We can either walk through this on our own, completely in the midst of darkness, or have some light. I mean, you talked about the light at the end of the tunnel. No matter what that darkness is, there is that light. And you just keep pushing forward and keep holding on to it.
And it's a long tunnel. And sometimes all you see is more tunnel.
Yep.
And then sometimes the light feels like a freight train. It runs you over and you just keep going because eventually it's hope.
Yep.
Right?
And that's the only way to get through is that hope.
Yeah.
Yeah. How much time we got? We got time for one more?
Yeah, we can do one more.
Thanks, John C. This is a good one. Okay, so in the midst of everything going on, how do you balance providing and protecting your family versus being generous with what you have?
Yeah. All right. So in very few circumstances do many of us go, I've got so much money. I got to do something with it. All right.
Yeah.
So this has exacerbated that even more. So provide and protect. Okay. We got to provide. All right. Jesus says, don't worry about food, what you eat, what you drink, what you wear. Okay. Meaning you got to take care of that.
Yeah.
All right. So, and I've talked about this before. The person who doesn't provide for the family, especially immediate family, is worse than an unbeliever. And so there's these are the necessities of life. And then these are the
luxuries.
And luxury. Compared to most of the world, the fact that you have 3 stupid hats is 2 more hats than most people have.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a sliding scale, but there's a common sense thing going. Hey, there's a necessity of life. We got to eat and sleep indoors, right? We got to have clothing. We got to have some transportation. There's some baseline things, okay, and then because we have some margin, we can upgrade. All right, as you upgrade. All right, so whatever that scale is right now, if you're on unemployment check, if you're on whatever that is, if you're on half salary, whatever that is. So you've got to take care of the basic necessity. Okay. Now you're going to provide and protect. That does that. They're alive, they're healthy, they're safe. Now there's some things above that. As we go above that, I also want to provide and protect my family spiritually. And that is before I fund all the other stuff, I'm going to carve out a percentage. And I'm not going to say it's a tithe or 10%. It's whatever you decide in your heart, whatever that is. Okay. But you're going to say, hey, what I'm going to provide right now is spiritual teaching about faith. Hey, kids, we could buy this. We can also buy this. Before we buy this, let's carve out a little bit for somebody else. And again, it's not the definition of greed and selfishness is my stuff for me. Right. My stuff for me. And because God builds in his image, we get to choose. Are you going to keep it for yourself? You can give some of it away.
Yep.
You have to figure out that going, listen, you can't give it all away. You're not even supposed to give it all away. I only found in the Bible, Jesus told one person to give it all away.
Yep.
And he said no.
Yep. How'd that end up?
We never heard from him again.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think if that story was written today, somebody go, and then Jesus chased him down the road and went, oh, buddy, it's okay. You'll get there someday.
Yeah.
You know, nope. He just let him go.
Yep.
Never heard from him.
Yep.
But it's like, you have to provide for the basic needs of your family. Okay. And if you don't, that you're worse than an unbeliever. It means go get a second job, mow yards, whatever that is. My kids are going to eat and sleep indoors. All right. Now, as there's more margin, you're generous by saying there's a percentage of it which we're going to give away towards the kingdom of God, towards people that are loving. Not because we couldn't find a use for it, but because there's this great story about a guy who had barns and he had a great crop and he tore down his barns, built bigger barns, and he says, it's all for me. And then he died. And then it's total loss. And Jesus says that's how it'll be for the person that is selfish and towards God, but vain towards themselves, right? I think provide and protect is physical, all right? And then there's spiritual. Okay. And then Jesus said your money and your heart are always, your money and your spirit are always connected. Yeah. So if you want to provide and protect for your family, take care of them. And then as you upgrade, let them know we're taking a part of this, and we're not going to be selfish people. Yep. We're going to give it away. And then we're going to go buy the big screen TV. Yeah. It's a 70-inch instead of an 80-inch, but you know what? Yeah. We took the difference and we made sure that somebody has food. Yeah. And that is a great, if a mom or dad will do that for their kid, that's better than anything they'll ever learn in church, because that sticks. Mom and dad aren't selfish people. I don't want to be a selfish person either. Their Sunday school teacher can't tell them that. Yeah. On the same level. Yeah. So provide and protect is not just physical, food, clothing, shelter. It's also spiritual. Yeah. But you use your money to do it.
That's really good.
Yep.
Cool. Well, we're going to go eat some more bundt cakes.
Look at this one.
Yeah. That's a big,
it's a
big lemming.
It's a big old bundt.
Yeah.
Big bundt cake. And so hopefully Nothing But Bunts will have a cake here every podcast.
Every podcast.
We could raffle them off for COVID-19 fund.
That would be perfect. How's the COVID-19 fund doing?
Oh, over 100,000, and we're helping some people. And the other great stories about that too. And you get on the church website, Flanders.com, and on the front there's a button. I can give to it, or I can apply for help from it. But I'm also hearing great stories going, I didn't give it the fund. I just took that and I gave it to a neighbor or a person over here, something like that. And I went to Michael and I said, hey, I'm getting ready to give it to this, but I also know about this other thing. Which do you think would be better? And he goes, well, you don't get the tax benefit if you go. I don't care about that.
Yeah.
Come on,
Michael.
Yeah, he's so worldly.
I'm such a CFO.
No. But if you do need advice about stuff like that, Michael's a great,
he's a stallion.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
All right, we will see you next time.
Sweet.
Let's eat some cake.
Cake. Later.